Act 3 begins with Jane, Val, Sif, and the Guardians all warping back to the town square of New Asgard. Jane is seemingly on her last legs with her stage 4 cancer attacking her body at a rapid rate thanks to Mjolnir removing her chemo. That's when Darcy, Selvig, and Korg find Jane and take her to the infirmary to heal her stab wound and monitor her cancer symptoms. But the Guardians are totally confused as to what exactly is going on. Valkyrie straight up accuses Thor of treason, but Sif doesn't believe that for a second. Thor wouldn't betray his loved ones, no matter how depressed he was. He has to be doing this for a reason, she says. Valkyrie reminds everyone that Asgardians were once bloodthirsty conquerors who hid their violent past for eons until Hela revealed the truth about Asgard. Maybe Thor wishes to have a new beginning, start fresh, with a universe without gods, and he did it without asking us first. But Nebula jumps in and says, it's much more complicated than the history of Asgard. Star-Lord jumps in and says maybe Thor thinks that the universe doesn't need him anymore. I mean, he hasn't really been himself since Thanos and everything surrounding Tony's death. Without a clear idea of what to do, Val, Sif, and the Guardians visit Jane in the infirmary, where her doctor explains that the wound has been closed up, thankfully, but her cancer is still attacking her body at a horrible rate thanks to Mjolnir. If she uses the hammer again, she could very well die. Jane is filled in on Thor's mental health crisis and the events of Ragnarok, Infinity War, and Endgame by the heroes. And Jane feels straight up awful that Thor has been going through so much after their breakup. And she admits that because of this new form as the mighty Thor, she thought she could live a better life away from Earth and maybe away from Thor. But Jane realizes how selfish she's been, trying to push away her loved ones and friends in her time of need. Just like Thor is acting right now. Even though her time is limited, she still wants to help Thor and stop Gorr any way she can. Jane then grits her teeth and summons Mjolnir to her side as she transforms, fully accepting the consequences of possible death should she overexert her power of Thor. Sif agrees to join Jane in the fight, but Valkyrie has some serious doubts about joining them because of her failure as a queen and a warrior of Asgard. Valkyrie said Thor trusted her to protect New Asgard, and she failed big time, and she realizes that now. But Sif says, not yet you haven't. Steel yourself, my queen. I know you have more strength to spare. Valkyrie thanks Sif for the advice and chuckles that maybe she's going soft like Thor. But maybe that's a good thing, being able to fight for the ones you care about, the ones you want to spend more time with. So Jane, Valkyrie, and Sif decide to use the Bifrost to a one-way ticket to the Eternity Gate. And of course, the Guardians and Korg are definitely in for the fight. But then before they can leave, a crackle and booming sound of thunder echoes through the sky, and it's not Jane. A flashy thunderbolt flies through a rainbow bridge portal from Omnipotent City. We then cut to Eternity's Gate, where Thor and Gorr prepare to summon the way to eternity with Stormbreaker. Gorr commends Thor for his bravery in betraying his loved ones, but he's curious as to why Thor would accept his fate and die so willingly. A crestfallen Thor says, "The universe has no need for failures like me, and as long as Jane and the people of New Asgard live, I will die happy knowing I protected them in the end." Then Gorr promises to grant Thor and the gods swift but painful deaths, a token of gratitude for helping him. But as Gorr prepares to summon eternity with Stormbreaker, Jane teleports in through the Bifrost. Thor is beyond shocked to see Jane is here and still wielding Mjolnir. Gorr says, "The necro sword should have killed you." How? I guess Thor's enchantment is a little stubborn about the rules. Thor says, "Jane, you shouldn't have come here." Gorr hisses, "Yes, for I could end your little performance as the mighty Thor in an instant." Jane just shrugs and says, "I get it. I'm no warrior, but I'm not stupid either. I know I can't beat you alone." Suddenly, that's when Valkyrie, Sif, The Guardians all appear behind Jane, followed by Zeus and a small group of recognizable deities from Omnipotent City that survived the attack. Thor is absolutely amazed at this sight. The army of gods and aliens he has been waiting for is right before him. Jane says to Thor, "You've been hurting for so long, Thor. Trying to save everyone you possibly can because you've lost so much. But that's not your burden to carry alone anymore. Isn't it about time someone saved you for once?" Valkyrie, "Can't let you have all the fun." Sif, "We're with you until the end." Korg, "We're your friends, bro. We're not gonna just leave you hanging." Quill, "We made a deal, bro. We're gonna find Gamora together. You know every captain needs a good right-hand man." And Zeus, "Come, my boy. Let us show this murderous scum what a true god can do." All the heroes in the background all shout words of positivity and support to Thor as they just want to fight to protect him and all of the gods. This brings Thor to the brink of happy tears. But Gorr is tired of this and prepares to end them all using Stormbreaker and the Necro Sword until Thor, out of nowhere, grabs Stormbreaker from Gorr and summons his electricity to blast Gorr away. Gorr is slightly upset at this little betrayal from Thor. Thor explains that he actually did plan to die happily as long as Jane never used Mjolnir again and Asgard and his friends were safe. A heroic sacrifice for the greater good. But now, seeing this sight, all my friends and family here beside me, Thor's hope is renewed as he stands alongside his loved ones and fellow gods to battle Gorr the God Butcher for the sake of their existence. Gorr growls, "So slow and painful then? Very well." Gorr calls Stormbreaker back and raises it to the sky while also using the Necro Sword to corrupt it, becoming a Necro Axe, and uses it to summon his newly powered-up army. He summons the Bifrost using Stormbreaker and holds it into the ground as the Bifrost opens the gate to eternity. Gorr then takes on a new form, donning a new symbiotic armor meant to represent All Black, fully taking over his body and mind. It is now clear to the heroes. They either have to kill Gorr or destroy Stormbreaker before it opens the gate to eternity and Gorr can make his wish. A race against time. The battle begins. Zeus and his forces keep most of the Necro Beast at bay. The Guardians provide support and music, and Valkyrie and Sif are finally working like a dynamic duo. Thor and Mighty Thor focus their energy on Gorr, who uses his full strength to even the odds. The Thunder couple get the upper hand when Thor gives Jane some much-needed guidance and direction as Thor, and they work together to immobilize Gorr using Mjolnir and Thor's own thunder power. Yes, remember, he never needed a weapon. Are you Thor, the god of hammers? The god of axes? I mean, seriously, he didn't even need a weapon to defeat Thanos. I'm pretty sure he could have taken him with his own power. But regardless, Gorr counters this attack by breaking Jane's leg, causing Thor to let his guard down and go crazy, and Gorr uses this weakness to stab Thor in the leg with the Necro Sword. Gorr taunts the injured Thor whilst digging in the Necro Sword into Thor's leg, deeper and deeper. "Give up, Odin's son. You're nothing without your hammer or the axe." Thor then slowly charges up the energy in his body. The entire room is filled with thunderclouds and lightning as Thor confidently says, "I'm more than just a weapon. I am the god of thunder!" Thor rises up and blasts Gorr with the full might of his power. Gorr attempts to block the lightning with the Necro Sword and uses his own Necroforce beam from the sword. It's like a Kamehameha wave beam struggle with both Gorr and Thor evenly matched. But before Thor loses power and slips up, Jane recovers and adds to Thor's lightning with her own full power of Mjolnir. But Thor screams, "Jane, no! You won't survive if you use Mjolnir like this!" Jane yells back, "I told you! I'm here to save you! I'm not gonna hold you back anymore!" Thor and Jane, with their combined lightning blast, overpower Gorr and Stormbreaker, and the overwhelming lightning blast shatters Stormbreaker and the necro sword into pieces. Gorr crumbles from the overcharged lightning blast, and he can feel his life force is at an end. But before that, Gorr looks behind him to see the door to eternity is open, and the heroes stare in awe. But Gorr uses this quick distraction to surprise attack and nearly suck the life force from Thor using what's left of the necro sword. But Jane jumps in just in time to completely obliterate the necro sword with Mjolnir's full power. Gorr falls to his knees in defeat with his plan in ruins and his body beginning to fail him. Thor quickly rushes to Jane, who reverts back to her human form. She's on the brink of death after using her full power. Thor cradles Jane into his arms as he tearfully pleads to the angels. "Not again. No, I can't lose you too, Jane." Jane weakly rubs Thor's cheek and wipes his tears away and whispers, "Eternity." Thor then realizes what she means and carries Jane over to Eternity's gates. Thor prepares to walk through the gate with her, but looks down at a dying Gorr, desperately grabbing Thor's leg. But Gorr's eyes and voice have changed completely. This isn't Gorr speaking to Thor. This is All Black speaking through this soon-to-be corpse. "How dare you? You think you've won? You think you brought peace by stopping me, All Black the Necro Sword, the power that was born from the Lord of Abyss. His hatred against the gods is eternal." Thor tells All Black he's nothing more than a slave to a person who doesn't care about him at all. The bodies he's buried, the worlds he's laid waste to, using an innocent man like Gorr and twisting him to be your puppet, deciding who lives and who dies, all for a coward who can't even show his real face. "No, no, null is the truth. All things are born from darkness, and from darkness they shall return. We survived much worse things than your dark lord. We will be ready for him. Now return to your so-called master, All Black, and let Gorr's soul and body be at peace." "Yes. Better to be at peace than in the living hell you gods have created. But prepare yourself, Odin's son. Your time in the light is coming to an end. Null is coming. All gods must die." All Black's presence then leaves Gorr's body, and the real Gorr manages to squeak out 2 words before he dies. "Thank you." The remains of the necro sword vanish into thin air. It's over. We saw that All Black's symbiotic bond brings corruption and destruction to whomever is taken by it. Gorr was no longer the peaceful family man and prophet he was, but was possessed by a vengeful spirit who carried the hatred and power of Null, the Lord of Darkness. And now that the battle is over, the realm of eternity is open. Thor and the heroes are teleported inside. Thor stands before Eternity with Jane in his arms. Eternity takes the shape of Thor and congratulates him for making it this far. Jane nods her head for Thor to make his wish. But before he does, Thor then turns to the Guardians, conflicted. "Quill, what about Gamora? You could find her. Wish her back." "Hey, don't worry about me. Besides, where's the fun in just wishing her back when Gamora's out there, waiting for me to woo her back with my charm and my incredible dancing skills?" "Jane needs you, Thor. It's all you, man." Thor is eternally grateful for this. And then he makes his wish to Eternity. "I wish to cure Jane Foster of her cancer." A flash of light blinds the screen, and Jane is no longer in Thor's arms, but standing tall with Mjolnir in her hand and her hair fully blonde. She is, now and forever, the mighty Thor. "Jane, How do you feel? I feel mighty. The two Thors embrace and share a passionate kiss. Korg and the Guardians cheer and celebrate alongside them, while Valkyrie gives Sif a mischievous look as Thor and Jane are kissing, saying, "What do you say? Kiss and make up?" Sif punches Valkyrie in the arm, saying, "You're the worst, Brunhilde." Sif and Valkyrie continually punch each other in the arm as a sign of respect and love. Jane thanks Thor for saving her, but Thor says, "You saved me. You all did." And Jane suggests that she might need a teacher since she still doesn't know the first thing about being a demigoddess, or a Thor for that matter. And of course, Thor accepts and says, "I love you, Jane Foster." Jane smiles back and says, "I love you, Thor, Odin's son." The heroes celebrate as Jane and Thor look on at the vastness of eternity's realm. Epilogue, a new venture. Valkyrie, who has now taken back her real name, Brunhilde, and Sif sit with the children of Asgard and they tell the epic story of the two Thors who defeated the God Butcher. Korg is one of those children. New Asgard is currently being refurbished into more of a traditional, less gaudy tourist spot, a real safe haven for Asgardians, aliens, and humans who wish to learn more about the culture. The Guardians wave goodbye to the people of New Asgard, while Thor gives his personal goodbyes and thanks to them. Star-Lord says he could use his right-hand man to find Gamora, but Thor declines, saying that there is much to be done about Null's eventual return, and he can't leave New Asgard unprotected. Not this time. The Guardians give a goodbye group hug to Thor before blasting away in the Milano into their next adventures in their Disney Plus Christmas special and Guardians Volume 3. Jane then watches New Asgard from a lighthouse with Darcy and Selvig. Thor joins them and the four share a nice moment looking down at a struggling yet thriving village of New Asgard. Darcy says, "So, are you going to be king or just the dude who lives here?" "Yes and no. Valkyrie and I have agreed to share the throne." "Really? So, she's your queen? I thought you and Jane..." "Valkyrie is my queen, but she's not my love. I'll teach her all my father has taught me about ruling a kingdom, and in return, help Jane become a mighty warrior to protect New Asgard." "Oh, good. Because if you hurt Jane again..." "I'll tase you again. But, much harder this time. I'm gonna take my time with it, you know? Seriously, don't hurt her." "He gets it, guys. We're in this together." "You have my word, my friends. I won't fail her, or any of you ever again. I will be right here on Earth, helping New Asgard become even greater than the home I once knew." And with that being said, we've got a lot of work to do. And Thor and I have a very important date with the Bifrost, don't we? Jane says her goodbyes to Darcy and Selvig and transforms into the mighty Thor. Thor remembers this is Jane's first training day, and he asks Darcy and Selvig to keep a little secret. They stare with their mouths agape to see Thor holding onto a shiny gold engagement ring that was said to be forged by Zeus and the goddess Aphrodite, as a thank you for fighting alongside the gods. Thor promises he is going to make the right choices from now on, for Asgard, his friends, and Jane. Thor pulls Jane in close and summons the Bifrost by raising his hands to the sky. As they travel through the Bifrost and hold on to each other, Jane asks, "So where exactly are we going for our first day of training?" Thor looks at Jane like she's the most beautiful person in the world. And in a callback to 2011's Thor, he chuckles and says, "You'll see soon enough." Sweet Child of Mine plays as Thor and Jane blast away through the Bifrost to parts unknown. Roll credits. Thor, Love, and Thunder. Whoa, 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 where are you going? This is a Marvel movie. You guys know how the game is played. Mid-credits scene and post-credits scene. The mid-credits scene, in a New Asgard library, Lady Sif and Queen Valkyrie study the dark demigod Null, whose history is written in ancient Asgardian texts, dating millennia after the century of the 6th cycle of the cosmos and the birth of the 7th cycle of what we now know as Earth 616. We see drawings of celestials and all black the necro sword, taking up multiple forms of weapons over the years. And these texts say that Null grows power from negative energy from the multiverse over millions and millions of years, and then finally rises from the void to destroy all life, including the gods who cursed him to the void. And worse, these ancient texts show that Null's return is sooner than realized. We then cut to black as the screen shows Null opening up his bloodshot red eyes and his evil laughter echoing. Yes, very ominous. Yeah, and I know Marvel's not really going in this direction, but it's fun to dream. The post-credit scene is very similar to the one in the actual Thor Love and Thunder movie, the same as the mid-credit scene, only Zeus is more positive and committed to building a new relationship with humans. Basically, Zeus wants to have what Thor has. He wants to have a connection with humans, and so he invites his son Hercules to join him to an excursion to Earth. And that is how I would do Thor Love and Thunder. Thank you so much for joining me for this rewrite. I really hope that you had a lot of fun watching it. I had a lot of fun making it. This was a long time coming. I truly hope you guys took something from this, and I'm glad you guys stuck around to the very end. Thank you. Love you so much. Have a great rest of your day, and I hope to make even more rewrite videos in the future. Thank you so much for watching.